Hey guys, Magnus here, and today is a very special day for a lot of people. It's pretty much been Shenmue Day. We've had two major events for the Shenmue community happening today. First, you had the release of Shenmue 1 and 2 HD for the PS4, Xbox, and PC, which I live tested and played last night. You can catch the streaming. I posted that on this account, so you can see my first impressions of what I thought on the PS4 version. I tried the Steam version, but it wasn't letting me download it at the moment. So I have it now, and I've tried it out a little bit. It's not much different, but it's excellent. But the second and big announcement that actually happened was the fact that the Shenmue 3 trailer was released today that actually announced the release date of Shenmue 3, which is now officially August 27th, 2019. Now, what I want to do is pretty much give a reaction to the trailer live with you guys. And then moving on from there is rewind it and really look into an analysis of what they're showing us or what they're trying to tell us in that trailer. So I've got it up, and without further ado, let's start the reaction. And thanks to GameSpot for this video. That's definitely Guilin. Getting off the boat. Dear, the graphics, such a change night and day. I don't know how I feel about the faces yet, but I love the upgrade. And that's the cave where the dragon mirror was painted by Shenhua's dad. That's the Phoenix man. Ugh, the faces though. Something's wrong with the faces. And the type. The Shenmue 3. August 27th, 2019. We can actually give a release date to Shenmue 3. How many years has it been for the Shenmue community to want to see Shenmue 3, and when's it coming out? Finally, we have our answer. So that was the trailer that was released today, but now I want to take a deeper look into the specifics of the trailer and what it shows and demonstrates and what it's trying to tell us. A lot of it's familiar, but then a lot of it isn't. So if you have any comments, please feel free to share if you think I'm right or wrong, or what you're able to observe that I wouldn't catch. So starting the trailer over again, and here we go. And I'm going to pause it several times. Okay, now this first shot of Shenhua, it looks like she's holding the stick because she's in the cave, which was near the end of Shenmue 2. I do have a feeling that maybe Shenmue 3 might pick up right at the end of the events of Shenmue 2. That looks like that might be one of the ideas or what they want to try to accomplish. What do you guys think? And then, of course, right here, where she's saying that old historic saying that was in Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2, that phrase, I believe that they're replaying that. Now, if you look in the background, where she's got that little kind of thing that's to her left behind her, that was actually one of the, I guess, shrines that you actually had to interact with at the end of Shenmue 2 to get that whole mural of the Phoenix and Dragon mirror to appear. And then that's when she started saying the text. So I honestly do believe that the Shenmue 2 ending is going to play off in this game. Now this is an interesting shot because it looks like it could be Guilin Harbor. There are a lot of city lights in the background and a lot of details with a ship coming in, and you would assume that Ryo Hazuki's on board, but it's not like Guilin, or basically when he was arriving in the area of Guilin, when he first got there, before he had to actually start the walk and where he met Shenhua. This looks like he's pretty much in where he wanted to be in Guilin, but he looks like it looks very familiar to the beginning of Disc 4 from Shenmue 2. As she continues to read her poem. Now this shot right here, it catches my eye too because he's coming off the boat in with his backpack. So you know that he's been pretty much traveling from one place to another. And holding his backpack is what he did when he actually went to Guilin, when he went to Hong Kong, when he was traveling anywhere. He just traveled with that jacket, jeans, white t-shirt, and the green backpack. Now this seems very reminiscent, again, of the beginning of Disc 4 in Shenmue 2, or basically the last chapter in Shenmue 2. But looks very different, and it's actually nighttime versus daytime. Let's continue. And if you look at the background, actually, in the top, you can actually see buildings, which is actually a surprise. So this can't be the beginning of when he arrives at Guilin, but it looks very reminiscent of it. Now, looking out into the distance, you can see that he's definitely, like I said, you can see like those buildings or those or something going on in the distance, and there's definitely a lot of ships there and things going on, so that's interesting. Now this character, don't know who that is, but that fighting style is very reminiscent of a character from actually Virtual Fighter 4, and it also looks very reminiscent of the end of Shenmue 1, where you face your last fight against Chai. It's similar movements. You see the way his legs are crossed and the way he moved his arms, and he's lower down to the ground. Very reminiscent of Chai from Shenmue. But then that fighting stance, now I'm going to rewind it a little bit here. If you look, his knees are bent, but he seems to be standing tall, at least in the middle of this fight, while he's practicing with Ryo. So he's not as low to the ground as Chai was when he fought. Now this right here, this looks again like a replay of the cave in the end of Shenmue 2. So they're walking in, you see that that Shenhua is barefoot and that Ryo's walking in when they both got the fire burning to be able to see and walk inside. So that, again, I really do believe that they're just kind of replaying events of the end of Shenmue 2. I don't think that they go back in this cave because, at least from the story as far as I understand it, it wouldn't make sense unless they're going back because they forgot something, or there's a hidden clue that they want to go back in the cave for. So that's a possibility. So, and if that is a possibility, that's them again looking for what they might have missed, and they go back in the cave. Or it could be the fact that they are in the cave wanting to see what else is there. What did they miss? They're still looking for Shenhua's dad, although it seems reminiscent, at least from the end of Shenmue 2, that he might have passed on. But let's continue. Again, another shot of inside the cave, and it looks like they might walk down a further path. Now, looking up on the moon definitely has some significance in this game. The moon seems to be pretty prevalent in most of the trailers that I've seen for Shenmue 3. Like, it's got meaning. Does it have anything to do with the Phoenix or Dragon mirrors? Does the moon itself represent a clue to the hidden treasures that are said to be locked away when you combine the Dragon mirror and the Phoenix mirror? Why are they looking up at it? And what's that tower? And where are they off to? Don't know. There's the Dragon mirror again, back in the cave. It's reminiscent, again, it's kind of replaying the same events that happened at the end of Shenmue 2. Going back to the cave, showing you the Phoenix mirror, showing you the Dragon mirror in high resolution. Now this is an important shot. If you look at the surroundings and the background, you see there's a dragon logo at the far distance, and that's obviously Lan Di. And Ryo doesn't seem to be reacting much. He's just kind of standing there as Lan Di is almost looks like he's preparing for either a tough conversation or battle with Ryo Hazuki. Now I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of how Lan Di looks. He has the same pronounced eyebrows, but there's something about his eyes here that is slightly different from the Dreamcast version. But it could just be me being nostalgic. I'm sure it'll be just fine. But again, it looks like this seems to be somewhere where Lan Di has base. So it matched the design that was in the background behind Ryo, somewhat matches the outfit that Lan Di's wearing. As we cut back to Shenmue. And then of course the logo, Shenmue. There, as far as I know, Alex, I don't know of the progress of the game, but I did want to actually touch up on that. So that's a good question. So Alex has asked, is there any word if this is still a work in progress? This is definitely, as far as I'm concerned, it definitely must be still a work in progress. You've still got a year of development time, a little bit over a year of development time. And what you'll find in many projects, at least video game projects, is a lot of fine-tuning when it comes to graphical glitches, when it comes to graphics engine, trying to get the lighting, trying to get the final tweaks and balances when it comes to gameplay and when it comes to certain cinematic scenes. You want to just fine-tune it. But when it comes to actually getting everything outlined, I would think it's safe to believe that it's pretty much done. They know where they're going. The story's written, and they're just producing all of the scenes before they have to fine-tune it and get it to where it needs to be for release. So as far as the looks and how like the facial features are, I think we're pretty close to final. Again, it's late in the game. I haven't heard any word of whether they've done their voiceovers for all the characters, but we haven't seen that. So I would bet that they're still working on voiceovers, both in Japanese and in English. And I do believe that when they actually complete the voiceovers, we're going to get a pretty good preview of what that sounds like. But what's interesting and what I wanted to bring up too is when you think of the original Shenmue and Shenmue 2, which they were both actually worked on at the same time. I believe the project started around 1993, 1994 to bring what was then known as Virtual Fighter RPG, bring it to life into a really well thought out, well planned out open world game that eventually became Shenmue. So you had 1993 when they might have started, and 1999 when Shenmue was finally released. So that's 6 years of development time. But in that 6 years, they had developed the game and worked on the game almost completely for the Sega Saturn before they had to start from scratch and rework the game and the engine for the Sega Dreamcast. The storyboard and everything was pretty much put together, but they had to start from scratch. So if you look at that timeline, pretty much the Sega Saturn, they knew that the Sega Saturn was not going to be where they wanted to release Shenmue, at least, in my guess, and now this is not based on fact, but my guess would be at least 96, 97. You really knew at that point that the Sega Saturn was far behind the Sony PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. So with a handful of years, they were able to fully develop and complete the first Shenmue. And now we have the game itself. Shenmue was kickstarted in June of 2015. The Kickstarter campaign lasted a month, but within less than 24 hours, it was fully backed with the goal set at $2 million. And then right there, they were just hitting stretch goals. So you knew that the game was going to happen no matter what. And development didn't really start until 2016, early 2016. And the estimate of release date was December 2016. Now, changing the date from December 2016 to August 2019, that's almost a 3-year difference. That's a 2.5-year difference. So if you started development in early 2016, January, you got 2016, 2017, all of 2018, they're doing development. So that's 3.5 years about of development time for this game. To me, that sounds like they're giving ample time to this game to really give it the polish that it needs. So really, to answer your question, I don't believe that it's fully final, but it's getting close. And it's a realistic turnaround time for a video game of this caliber. In fact, I am very, very happy. When I first heard the release date of December 2016, when it was being kickstarted, I was like, a year and a half of development time? No, I'm not going to like this game. When I heard that it was delayed until August, or not August, but pretty much third quarter 2018, I was a little bit more relieved, but I'm like, it still could use a bit more time. Then I heard it was delayed until 2019. I'm like, good. To me, the more they delay it, the more polish and time that they have to get it. Now, to be honest, I was saying that it was scheduled for release late 2016. Now that I think about it, it might have been December 2017 that they were originally gonna release it, to give 2 years time. But still, I didn't think that was enough. And now here we are, 2018, and we finally got a release date of August 27th, 2019. So pretty much that's all I've got to say about Shenmue and the release date and the trailer. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'll answer it now. But if not, you can, of course, comment on this video later, and I will definitely answer it as you post it. Please, please hit that like button. And if you're watching, please hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as possible, covering and updating on Shenmue and doing a few live plays here and there of classic Sega games, classic Nintendo games, and a couple of modern games as well to give my quick review. But I'm focusing all my major videos on Shenmue. You can expect a Shenmue HD review and comparison coming up soon, more fully fleshed out than my live play from last night. But anyway, thank you for joining, like, share, and of course you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. Shenmue Day was awesome. Thanks guys for joining me. See you later.